Yes, it took a long time to come through because I'd worked on it over the weekend and I'd got bits and pieces from Master Adam and Master Joseph.
Mm.
And I sort of got um, a bit on Monday, but it wasn't really enough to deliver. There was missing gaps. And I said, look, I can't deliver this for Monday. And they said, no, you have to do it Tuesday. So then that was good because it gave me the opportunity to do what I needed to do yesterday and clear my mind and then revisit it, which was really good. Um, so if you're looking at Adam and Joseph as masculine, what I would call probably not masculine people to look up to, but to identify to. Um, Adam was mostly betrayed, he was hurt, he was deceived. And so
Mm.
that's when everything changed for the masculine. The masculine became confused, came under the energy of deceit and
Mm.
confusion, and they really didn't know who they truly were. And that is because, thanks to Eve, supposedly, but it wasn't just Eve, it was women of that time. They were um, different to the woman of who we are today. And so the men were more inclined to be the protectors, and they took it the wrong way and got deceived and hurt, and they hurt their hearts. And of course, the communication back then would have been different. The whole situation would have been different. Their roles would have been different. And so the man DNA changed and he went into what we call a painful period, a hurtful period, a confused period, and that got passed through DNA onto the other masculine. And it became, this is why in the ascension process, we're having to clear a lot of DNA and ancestor DNA, and it's because of what's been carried through. And now we can see why we have to do this work with the divine feminine, our bloodlines, our family lines. It's all connected to what went on and how it was received, and then how it became people of today. So it's had a lot of impact and it's had a lot of misunderstanding. And in our case, when we see the masculine, he is wounded. The real masculine of today is a wounded masculine. He's not the full masculine that God created.
Mm.
And that goes right back to the beginning of time, around about Adam time and the deceit time. And then it sort of carried on from there because it became a pattern because it was in their DNA then. And of course, it just carried on. Then we come to the time of Joseph, and Joseph was the true masculine. He had become a different type of masculine. He was the masculine, the protector, the warrior, the lover, the husband, the father. And he was in his full true masculine form. And so Joseph was the father of real fathers, not the father God, the fathers of masculine fathers that we should look at and understand more about. We need to study more on who Joseph really was because he was a true masculine. He had no programming, he had no influence, he had no DNA corruption or anything like that. He was a true masculine. And so we went through phases in time that has affected the divine masculine, just like the divine feminine got wounded and hurt and went through many changes. But she's rising again because she's part of the new frequency. And so you can see why the old earth frequency is the way that it has been. It's under confusion because masculine is confused, whereas new earth won't be, it'll be defined.
Mm.
So it's really interesting to see how it really works. So the messages they brought through. The masculine heart has been broken in pieces for a very long time. So it's kind of fractured, the masculine. It
Mm.
needs to be repaired, brought back together. And
Mhm.
when you look at a lot of the man of today, they really don't know their roles. They are very confused. And that is because what has happened through their DNA, they've picked up from grandfathers, great grandfathers, and so forth, and got pieces. not wholeness. And so they're
Yeah.
fractured. They're under illusions of programming, control. And so what has happened is they really don't know their true masculine selves. It doesn't know its worth and place. So when you look at the masculine today, they are very confused of what their place is and their worth. And some feel guilty if they want to be a house husband. Others feel guilty because they're at work all day, or, vice versa. They're not spending enough time with you. Or that's all programming. It's all confusion for them. The masculine was deceived and it's guarded now before its trust. So the masculine lives under a deceitful energy, not to you, it has been deceived. And so it's very hard for it to learn to trust and open up fully. That's why there's so much ego competition out there, because it's the ego not wanting to trust. And so therefore, it's very, very guarded. And you can see that in hurt men and the way they carry on and their ego and the way they are. They can be quite pathetic. And it's sad to see, especially for someone like me that worked in the industry where I had 200 men working around me and all the egos going all at once. I tell you, it was like, blimey, far out. So they are very wounded. And I'm not saying this in a horrible way or a nasty way. I'm talking about the frequency of masculine. The wounded masculine is weak by the system and only now are realizing it's time to be equal with the divine feminine. And that's why we've had this whole women's right, women's lib. We've had everything that hasn't been in balance between male and female. And it's in the workplace today still. The masculine always get paid more than the woman and all this sort of stuff and equal rights and that. Well, it's only just starting to come back, and it will for New Earth. The feminine have held a certain power that has weakened the masculine. So it's weakened the masculine because they can see we're actually quite powerful and they feel weakened around us because they don't know their true worth. And so they're confused again. And we hold the power of the womb. We are God's wombs. We are what God had when he created other beings. We can do the same. We hold that power within our wombs. So they can see the womb man is far more powerful. And they don't know how to act or behave because they're fractured, they're broken, they're not the full masculine. If they were in their full masculine, they would know how. Over time, masculine has had to learn to be truth and free again, and that's coming. So once they're free, you'll see the true masculine rise, which we're helping with today. And to watch the true masculine, if you watch someone like the Josephs, it's beautiful to watch. The masculine form, the masculine being is a beautiful thing. It's man of God. So it is beautiful. Starting with Eve, they were deceived and weakened, the masculine for many years. So starting around about the time, they're not blaming Eve, but they're saying around that time was when all the deceitfulness came in. Joseph was the true masculine in his glory of truth, freedom, and balance. And that's why Joseph and Mary were the ones that were to bring Christ through, because they were both divine balance and harmony as a couple. And, it would be lovely if we could be with them today and learn by them or see how they interacted with each other, because there's a lot of lessons there to be learned. But then something happened. The queens of the world, and the queens were the ones that did the damage, the real queens, not the inverted queens, the real queens, the rulers of kingdoms. Again, they weakened the masculine. They took control. And so you can see how the real queens of the kingdoms ruled them and turned them into knights. And, they had to bow down in front of the queen, and they had to be this, and they had to be that, and they had to be a certain type of masculine. So they weakened them again by their ruling. So it was the queens of time, the real queens. And so it was imbalanced again. So there were times where it was deceived, then it was in its true masculine, and then it was weakened again. And it's happened. You can see it happening over time. If you look at history, the real history, not the fake history, you'll see where the masculine was weakened. The masculine need help remembering to be who they are. Confusion, not understanding on a journey of self-discovery. So they've kind of gone away from their own self-discovery. They're so busy being confused, they've lost their self-discovery mission.
Mm.
It takes them a lot longer to see or understand. With the consciousness of the light community in the ascension, it is now time to activate the DNA chromosomes of the masculine to support their role in humanity. So the ascension is here to help them also to bring back their balance, their memory. The masculine heart is to be reset, which is what we're doing, and learn to love thyself and others in a free way of no controls and programming. Because the love that they love today is a program love. It's not the real love that we know in oneness. They don't know that. They haven't learned to understand that yet, the masculine, because it's not free, it's deceived. They have been scarred. They have been scarred to truly love the way they were meant to be. It was taken away from them. When the masculine is in its true power is a beautiful thing to see. Rise, beautiful masculine, rise in your truth, love, and beauty. So you see, it is a beautiful masculine. It's not the confused program masculine we see today. And there's a lot of confused masculine out there. You've only got to look at the way that they treat people and the way they treat people in their own lives, their family lives, their work life, and then they're confused with their work-life balance. I mean, where did that all come from? It came from the masculine, and then the imbalance of the divine feminine with the masculine, and who takes this time off for maternity leave, and it's all that stuff. That's all going away. It doesn't need to be there. It is time to truly love again. Love yourself as the Creator made you. Be a strong warrior. Stand up and be seen, dear masculine. Be the heart. Be the protector of land, ocean, and skies. So they were really created to be protectors of land, ocean, and skies. They are the heart. So we've got Gaia, the divine feminine, and we've got the heart, which is the masculine. So that's why Earth has been confused, because it should have been the divine feminine energy frequency with them being the emotional heart, but it's been screwed up and turned over and deceived and twisted. And so now we're in the way we are. We're in positions where we've had terrible things happen on Earth, especially wars and things like that. That's all because of the confusion of the roles that are meant to be played here. Protect the weak, helpless, and offer service and love light of your truth. Throw away the programming, the rule books. It's time to be you, the XY and the DNA that creates you into the divine masculine of time and soul journeys. So their soul journeys have been from a very early time and they've been broken. And now it's time to complete that, get their XY back into line with their DNA, and then they are clear to be free again and be their truth. And then Joseph speaks quite clearly here. He says, because you've got to remember, Joseph, I mean, I look at Joseph as a typical father figure. To me, he would be the typical father, the way he was explaining himself and the way he is as a person and so forth. And I thought, yeah, you're the typical father figure. He was the protector and so forth. Well, he says, cry rivers of tears to the masculine. Release the past and allow the future in the oneness of new time and divine masculine, divine feminine balance for new earth, for all cosmos beings and masculine beings needing to repair, rebuild, relive, and trust freedom, love, light, and oneness. They were his words because he said that's how it was. And now we've got to get back to that. So when he said cry rivers of tears, he said, you've got to learn to cry again. The masculine was told, oh, don't be a sook, don't be a baby, don't cry. But if they learn to cry, they go back into that heart space that they are. They are the heart. The woman is the womb, the man is the heart. So when you got the womb and the heart together, can you imagine the balance and the harmony? That's how it works. And people don't see it that way. None of us have seen it that way.
No.
So God gave man heart and womb man womb, portal of life. And to look after that life and protect that life was the heart. So it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And so the activation for today, and then we'll do the Brotherhood of Man, which I can't remember what book I put that in, or did I put it in a book? Or is it, I don't know, we'll have to find it. Activation. It is now time to rise to be the great masculine. Hand on heart. The great man of God, the great warrior of rights and protection. The great love, father, brother, son, to be your truth, respect, love, sincerity, and to understand the true relationships of life.
Mm-hmm.
As you place your hand on heart, speak these words. I am Godman. I am man of God. I am my truth. I am love. I am light. I am warrior, protector. I am masculine. The divine masculine, the divine feminine are now being activated to be true balance as Godman of God's creation. Today forwards, the earth, humanity, and the collective will now be balanced in the true XY and XX. It is time to bring together a new love, a new light, and understanding to build a new reality of new earth.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, coming back together in that oneness, we have been divided and deceived. We rise together in balance and in harmony. We rise in vibration, frequency together, creating the new earth. We rise together in higher consciousness of love to become closer to the Creator and to be oneness. From this day forward until eternity, this activation covers all galaxies and beings of true creators to now be balance, harmony, and oneness of love in its full glory. And so it shall be. I am divine masculine.
Ooh.
Pretty powerful, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. When you listen to it, you can see how manipulated and divided and fractured it all is.
Oh, absolutely.
Together in that activation.
And the masculine man has trouble loving at its highest level. I'm not talking about your conscious love down here on earth in your matrix world where you fall in love and you love somebody dearly and you get married and your soulmates and twin flames and all that. I'm talking about that true oneness love. That's a different love, and that's the wounded love. They love for different reasons, men. Let's face it. And another thing they told me was XY and XX were never that. Well,
Of
because
course.
English language and all that
Yeah.
being brought in, they said it was light language symbols.
Oh, wow.
So the true feminine and the true masculine are the light language. They have a light language symbol. So we were deceived about that as well.
Right.
Any questions at this point? Because I asked them. I said to them, well, I look at a lot of these masculine today that are like confused in their roles with work, with their wives, with their mothers, and it's all programming. It's all confusion. It really is. And even as fathers now, you see it, they're confused how to be a father. A lot of men don't know how to be fathers, real fathers. Like Joseph was the father, and he was a protector. He got Mary out of the weather conditions and moved her to somewhere warm, and so that Jesus could be born. Well, a lot of men today think they're being protectors by working 9 to 9, and not ever being at home. That's not being a protector. That's being programmed. It's fear. It's not really knowing your true masculine. Because you're not protecting your family.
No, they believe by earning money so that they can eat and live, that's their role.
It's not.
It's programming. We've all been programmed.
So they're confused. Like, we've worked on the divine feminine and her power and her beautiful womb and who she is, but the man is the broken heart and it's fractured.
Yeah.
And you know what else they told me? This is why men suffer a lot with heart attacks. It hurts. They get the broken hearts. And the heart attack rate and the masculine is higher. So that's why they have a lot of heart issues, because they haven't worked on this part of who they are. And remember when we did the divine feminine, we had to work on the womb part. They have to work on the heart part. So it's kind of an interesting topic in that sense.
Very interesting. Wouldn't have known they were the heart. Because you never hear that. Never. It's never mentioned. It's always the woman's the emotion and the heart of the family and all that.
The woman's emotions are controlled by the womb. It's not the heart.
No.
Or it's the womb. That's why the baby's DNA remains in the womb after it's been born. So it's interesting that the deeper you go into it, I mean, there's a lot more to it. This is just the basics of understanding what we need to do here, because the activation we have to do is we have to go back to God's creation space and reactivate that true creation of man. We have to go back into that space and give them their power back and say, here you are divine masculine, now be in balance and harmony with us, the divine feminine, who is rising in new earth to create oneness. Not this division that goes on, and competition too. It's a lot of competition out there amongst us, especially in the workplace. Any other questions? I gotta find that brotherhood of man.
I mean, this is all new to hear this. It's very new.
That's why it took me a long time to get the information clear, because
Yeah.
the clearness has got to be accurate, because I won't deliver it if it's not. And that's why I said, I'm not ready, guys. I have to move it to
Yeah.
Tuesday because I haven't got enough on it to get enough and understanding for myself, let alone try and deliver it. And then I finally got it. It all sort of fell into place, and I was able to finish the activation, because the activation is really for the masculine, but we can say it on behalf of the masculine. And then I got the codes coming in, which I was trying to deliver on Sunday, and it just was not coming through clearly. And the frequency of those codes were really like high pitched. I couldn't even carry them through properly. So I had to wait till yesterday to bring them through. So when you sit in that sound, turn all your lights out, sit in darkness, so nothing's interfering your thought, your mind's eye or anything, and you sit there with your hand on your heart and you listen to that frequency, and you bring into your heart space and your womb space your children, your male children, your males that you love in your life, and it changes their frequency immediately. I did it with Andrew yesterday, and I could feel him shifting.
Oh, that's beautiful. I did it yesterday too after you said. Could feel it.
So
Wow, you got there. That was a lot of new learning, and to be open and to allow it through. Goodness me.
yeah, I know. And then the masculine will look upon the divine feminine differently. Like I look upon the masculine today differently to what I used to. To me, they're
Yeah.
beautiful. They're God's creation. And because we had all that nonsense growing up, oh yes, smelly boy germs and all that. Remember that stuff
Yeah.
they used to teach us?
Yeah.
He was sit next to a smelly boy. Well, that was to downplay the masculine,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they carried the heart space and all that stuff. Well, it's only now that I understand I haven't met a true masculine in his masculine, other than speaking with Joseph. There's not a true masculine on this planet yet. There was, but there's not
Mm.
now. We're not there yet.
Oh no, after everything I've been through,
And some
really.
got some good masculines in your life, some really wonderful masculines, but they're not there yet either. So yeah, prayer for the masculine. I've got it.
Awesome.
The brotherhood of man. Now, it's interesting because the disciples were true masculine. So it had corrected itself after Joseph for a little while.
Oh.
So you had the disciples, you had about 100, 200, 300 years there where it was okay, I suppose. And then you got the greed come in and the kingdoms and the queens, and then it disrupted that energy again. So you can see through history. And then you got the inverted queens, which even screwed it up even more. So prayer for the masculine, the brotherhood of man channeled from Moses. May you be truly blessed as pure source, light, love, energy. May you be of God in the highest form and be love of all things pure. May you know love, truth, balance, harmony, and know that you are chosen to be here to lead the way as man, to be the new earth brotherhood. May you know your service soul mission. Remember, you truly are of God's source and pure light source. May you drop all programming and be your original blueprint to perform your duties in service for this time. Exactly what they were saying about the XY.
Mm.
New earth awaits you, golden abundance awaits you. Be God source, be pure man, lead the way, be the brotherhood to live by example. Be God's joy, love, and happiness. You are truly blessed. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I am man, I am God's man. I am love, light, source, energy.
Mm.
So it's two very strong messages today, the very understanding of bringing that harmony back to them. So the biggest problem today we have with the masculine is they don't want to hear it. You know, they're sort of like still closed off. We've got to help them wake up
Mm.
and understand who they truly are. I think, you know, they're just at that very beginning of stages of rising in the ascension. And this is why when if the like you guys, if you're the light workers and you've got a man, a partner that's not 100% awake. That's why he's a little bit behind you because the divine masculine is an imbalance here. Wait for it to hit, and then they'll shoot up and meet you on a playing field that's in balance. And this is why I always said you're not going to be divided because you will go together. And that's because we had work to do. We had to get this to this point where we could help them. And it had to be the divine feminine to do that because she came in and ruined it a couple of times. And then she had to refix it. But she had to know herself first to get to that point.
Yeah.
And this will help them to move up with you and become oneness to help create new earth. Then you'll find the new earth will be created. Everything will start to fall into place. This is just baby steps all the way we've had to do, such as things like bill frequency, getting the bills released. Well, now we're working on the divine masculine. And God did have a plan for us, and we're working through it slowly. And so what has happened is now we're ready to say, okay, we can help the divine masculine. And that's what we're doing today. And that's why we keep getting it. We've got to do the divine masculine, but we just weren't 100% ready. It came a little bit further along because I can't remember when we did that divine feminine. It was middle of last year in the womb.
Mm.
And I think a lot of the men today will be grateful for this because it'll help them to see and to move forward.
Yeah.
And just watch now and see what happens. And did you hear in that recording tick, 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 tick? Did you hear that
Yeah.
part? That's
Yeah.
the heartbeat.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's the
Yeah.
beating of that heart activation for them. So all the codes all the way through repaired the heart, and then the was resetting the beat. And the beat of
Beautiful.
the heart is the beat of Earth's frequency.
Yes.
Get that one?
Yes, that makes sense. I have that little machine, and the Earth's frequency is 7.83, and that's what it is. It's that's exactly what
Yeah.
it is.
And the heartbeat has been incorrect. The doctors, the medical system has always kept the heartbeat at a lower rate. Go figure that out.
Mm.
Everything's been played with and manipulated with. There's a lot here. There's a lot to take on. There's a lot
Yes.
to absorb. And the other thing is that they were telling me about the masculine is the new earth baby boys are coming fixed in
Oh,
oneness.
wonderful.
So the new
Beautiful.
baby boys are coming as the harmony for the feminine. So if you've got a baby boy in your family and a baby girl, they you know how siblings
I
used to
know.
fight And they're like, and I used, you're not going to get any of this because you're going to be balanced. You're not going to have those issues. It's going to be a lot easier to have, one boy, one girl kind of thing in the same room. Because when they're little, they're at each other's throats because it's not balanced. And children pick up the frequency of the imbalance. It disrupts them like it does. It disrupts dogs. It disrupts cats, horses. They feel it. Well, that's what they felt between them. And that's why when you had a boy and a girl, or say two boys and a girl, there was always arguing or disruption in the house because it wasn't balanced. Well, these new earth children are coming through totally balanced. You're not going to have that home disruption and arguments, and it's going to be how it was always meant to be, in balance. There'll be the odd occasion, like, oh, he's making me late, or he's got his shoes over there and they stink, or whatever. There's going to be that kind of stuff, but there's not going to be the sibling rivalry that has been. So it's going to make it a lot easier on the parents, because these kids, remember, they're new earth children, are coming in to teach the parents.